Right, so here we go with section 2 of Design 301. This is about editing commands. I've seen everybody's got a good handle on how to draw lines and make shapes and circles and things like that. So once you're able to draw a line, the most common thing to do is have to edit it. Move it around, copy it, trim it. There's a thing called fillet. There's a thing called offset. So this is how, once you've got a line in place, you get to work with it to make it exactly like what you want. And these help you draw quickly and fast and accurate. So I've broken this into 2 parts since this takes 2 weeks to do. What I've done is I've made your assignment guide here for part 1 that will take you 1 week. And part 2 is included on it. Let me show you. It's included, but it's in light letters. So the things that are light are part of section 2. They're part of editing. But we're going to do those in the next week. What you see that you can see really well, plate 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, and some of these other things are due in part 1. They're due this first week of the section. Okay, so this is part 1. It's the assignment guide. I will revise the assignment guide for part 2 and give that to you next week. So what are we going to try to do? We'll practice drawing lines and shapes, because to edit something you have to draw. And then we'll learn some edit commands. So we're going to draw variations of triangles and rectangles, and then we'll use those edit commands to copy, move, offset, trim, and fillet. And we'll learn about something called O-snaps to make our life a little easier. In addition, and that's for this week. In this part 2, you're going to learn about orthographic drawings. And we'll work this week on a little bit of terminology and keywords. So let's take a look and see what's available to you. There is a substantial playlist, and it's got demonstrations of every plate that is required so that you can follow along and click, 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 just as I do. Okay, and so there's 2.1, 2.2, 2.3. So there are, and these are also provided in the guide. There's also how to do some tracing. There's orthographic terminology and orthographic projection. There's also this cool one here that's not in the playlist, but you'll want to watch it. Those are the general, how do you move, copy, rotate, and trim. And then we've got some game sheets to do. So if you look at each of these, you can see that's quite a substantial bit of drawing, but it should take you maybe 10 or 15 minutes for each one of these. Once you've kind of got the style down and you're going, each one will get a little bit faster. So those all sort of use the same thing. And this one is really about O-snaps, but there's a little bit of the fillet command on there also. Okay. The game sheets are about shortcut keys. So what we've done so far is we've looked at the ribbons and gone up and hit the icons, or we've typed some things in. There are shortcut keys if you're a typer that you can use, and it's good to know that they exist. You may wish to develop skill in them. It's not required, but we have it there for you. And then this is about the icons that you see in the edit command. Okay, so that's pretty much what's up. And then we do have a discussion board assignment, and it's about finding entry-level jobs. So last week, in the last section, you found an ideal job, and on the whole, just taking our courses don't qualify you for it fully. Some of them needed a lot of experience or some skills that are above and beyond what we teach. But you can find entry-level work that puts you on the pathway to get those. And so this is to help you figure out that that's possible and how to do it. So then let's take a look at what these look like. So activity 1 is plate 2.1, 2.2, and 2.3. That's mostly about drawing and using the trim command, a little bit of move command, and a little bit of copy command. Okay, and offset. It's got them all in there. It's really kind of neat. Okay, and here are the video demonstrations for each one. Now you'll notice I put a colored background in so that you can't just take a snip out of it and use that as a finished demonstration. Yours should have the white background or the black background. Okay, and then you can see these ones are doled out. They're kind of faded out. Those are due the following week. This is the one for part 1. Okay, plate 2.4. That's using O snaps, and you're gonna do the rectangle command, the fillet command, a little bit maybe the explode, offset, and draw line commands. Okay, these two are for the part 2 the following week. And here's activity 5, so you'll do 5.1 and 5.2, and this one's grayed out. You'll see that those also follow what's required in the workbook. Does the same sort of a thing. The workbook, you will see this is for part 1, section 2, part 1. It says what's due down here. Now you'll notice I changed the format of this a little bit to make it easier to read. A few people had questions, so I used their feedback to redo how this looks. So draw lines. Plate 2.1, 2.2, 2.3 is due on the 18th. And when you've got it done and submitted, you would change that to complete or done. And if you wanted to, you could make it green. Okay, so I'm looking for your status down there. When you're done. So each of the things that are due in your workbook for this week are in here. There's 2.1, 2.2, 2.3. There's plate 2.4. Here's your game sheets. And this is an optional one. Let me go back and show you that one. It's really kind of cool. It's to make 3D shapes out of the 2D flat shapes that you've done. This is truly optional. It's not part of this class, but it's not a very big step to take after you've done the 2D. So I'd like to let you do it if you're sort of ahead and want to try some of these and see how to do it. It's kind of cool. And then if you want to see what other people have presented, this is for part 1 and part 2. This is how some people have put together their executive summaries, and this is how some people have showed their work. Now you'll notice that when you're printing these out, if you were to print this out on paper, the white background does look better than these big black spots. On the screen, it's not too bad. But this is what some people have done. Okay. I also want to show you some samples from week 3. These were turned in early. They're all really nice. And so people like to see what's been done. You'll see a wide variety of what was included, a wide variety of styles. These are all very nice. Don't worry if you can't make yours look fancy. Okay, the main point that I want to do is show you that there's a lot of different styles that you can use and a lot of different appearances. So you should feel free to experiment with your own style. Here's another one down here. Okay, and so these are available on the announcements. So there you go. That's a little bit of a look ahead for Design 301. Section 2, it's all about edit commands, copy, move, offset, trim, and fillet. And this is part 1. Okay? And part 1 is due at the end of week 4. There we go. Hope you guys all have fun doing this.